Hello, I hope everyone has enjoyed me sharing the history of this 1820s era farmhouse. I really have enjoyed sharing it with everybody. Today we're going to mix things up a little bit. Today we're going to talk about the inside of the house. We're going to take a tour and walk through the house the way it was the day that it was being moved. And then we're going to show you some pictures of the way it looked, probably when this picture was taken that you're looking at on the outside in the early 80s, 82 to 85. I have no idea why these pictures were taken inside the house or the outside of the house, but I sure am glad that someone took them, and hope you enjoy today's filming and sharing the history of this home. Thank you for watching. We'll start out with the first picture. You're standing in the doorway looking into the kitchen and living area. This room served as two purposes. It was the kitchen, and you can see the dining room table, and also it had a living area with a couch and chairs and TV. And during my time of living in this home, this was kind of the heart and soul of the house. This is where everyone spent most of their time, and I have a lot of fond memories of this house, the way it looks in this pictures. In this short video clip, you'll see that the house is now vacant. It had been vacant for probably 4 or 5 years. This was taken on the day that the house was to be moved. It had already been jacked up, all the foundation taken out from under it. As you can see, the fireplace has been removed, all the bricks been taken down, and it's ready to be moved to its new location. I want to talk a little bit about the kitchen living area and tell a little history as I remember it, the way it was back when I was a little boy and when I was growing up. In my younger days, the kitchen and living area was actually separated into 2 rooms. When you come in from the breezeway, I guess some people would call it a breezeway. We called it a porch, and that's just what I've called it all of my life. It was enclosed, but we called it the porch. But when you come in, the first room you entered was a little dining area. And then you walk straight through that into the kitchen. And this area that you're seeing right here on the screen, that was not there when I was a little boy. My granny had that built probably in the 1970s. But when I was a little boy, there was a pantry in this area. And that thing was probably original to the house, the best that I can remember, because it didn't have a doorknob on it. It was not like cabinets or pantries as you think of in today's time. It was a little bitty dark room that had a door on it, that had a little twist handle that held the door closed. And at the time, I was a little boy, and it was dark in that kitchen part, and I was actually scared of that, because every time I was told to stay out of the kitchen because there was hot things in the kitchen and stuff, and I was a little scared of the kitchen when I was a little guy. But in this next clip that you're seeing, you can see in the ceiling where the wall was taken down, and the ceiling was plastered over and sheetrock put up there, and you can see it started to crack where the room was actually divided. But the wall, I can't remember. That wall was taken down probably in the early 70s, maybe late 60s, somewhere in there. But that's a little bit of history of the house as I remember it when I was a little boy. In this picture, you're seeing the kitchen living area from standing at the other end of the room, standing in the kitchen part, looking back and you can actually see right on through what we call the porch, and you see into what we call Aunt Cora's room. You can see the TV kind of down there on the bottom right hand side with pictures on it. You can see the chair where my pa sat in, and my Aunt Carolyn sat there for a long time. But this is the way it looked back in probably the 80s. In this clip, you can see that we've moved on to Aunt Cora's room. That's what we called it. You can see the fireplace has been removed, and it's the house is actually ready to be moved to its new location. Well, I want to show you a clip of where Aunt Cora actually sat at in this room, and this is where she actually sat most of the time that I can remember. Her whole life she sat right there in that corner of that room, and her bed is not, you can't see it in this clip, but her bed was actually in that room with her also. So you had to walk through Aunt Cora's room to actually get to the only bathroom in the house when I was little. And the houses back then had no halls. You just went from room to room. But that was what we called Aunt Cora's room. What you're seeing in this picture is we're still in Aunt Cora's room. This picture was actually taken where Aunt Cora used to sit at. You're looking over across the room, and the piano and the chair, that's where Aunt Cora's bed used to be. Aunt Cora has since passed, and she's gone on to be with her Lord. But this is a picture of what as she was sitting in her chair. This is what she was facing, and this is the way she was looking. The piano was not there, the chair was not there. Her bed was actually where they're at. So, but this is the way it looked in, like I said, the mid 80s. We're still standing in Aunt Cora's room, and the room that you're seeing through the door is actually my bedroom. That's where I slept. The most of my time that I lived there as I was a teenager and my early adolescent years. So this was my room. This is where I actually slept at. What you're seeing here is we're still in Aunt Cora's room, and we're going back down in what we call the porch. If you look to your right, that door handle you see there actually is still a room within the house, but that whole wall right there was added probably in the 80s. I'm going to think sometime in the 80s. That door and that wall were added sometime in the 80s to make that a separate room there, and it actually turned into a laundry room, and later on a bathroom. Later on, added a bathroom, but it turned into, like I said, a laundry room and a bathroom. But this is what you're seeing as you're coming out of Aunt Cora's room, walking back down into what we call the porch. And you can't see in this picture, but if you could see to your left, that was actually the door that we use to go in and out of the house. That's the door that was used by everybody. And so you can't see it in this picture, but if you could visualize it, just 2 foot to your left is the door that actually went outside. What you're seeing here is we have walked all the way through Aunt Cora's room, and now we're standing in what we call the big room. And when the house was first built, I can't remember where I've talked about it in other articles or not, but it was originally a 4-room house. Actually, it was 2 rooms on the bottom, which were Aunt Cora's room and what we call the big room. And then there was 2 loft rooms. So the only 2 rooms that were downstairs in the original part of the house was Aunt Cora's room and this big room. But we're standing in the big room, and what we're looking at is that through that door that you're seeing that was my granny and pa's bedroom. And in early days, when the house was actually just 2 rooms, that door was not there, and what that room that was actually their bedroom now was a corn crib, and that's where they stored the corn for the animals and stuff. But later on, as they built barns, I guess, and whatever, they done away with the corn crib there, and I guess that's when that door was added and it was turned into a bedroom. You can't see it in this picture, but if you look to the left of what we call a wardrobe there with the mirrors on it, then that was where the door was to the only bathroom in the house. But where that bathroom is, when the original house was built, the bathroom was not there. That was actually a little porch that led outside. But then I can just barely remember when I was a little kid when that was closed in. There was no bathroom in the house before that. But when I was a little kid, they closed that in and turned it into they closed that porch and turned it into a bathroom. And that's a little history on the big room of the house. What you're seeing here is the front room of the house. This room was added on before my time, before I can remember. I can't ever remember this room as it was originally. The original house did not have this room. This was actually the front porch of the house, and it was closed in sometime, and I have no idea when it was closed in, but it was turned into a bedroom, and it's been like that, like I said, my whole life. And but you had to walk through Aunt Cora's room, through the big room, and then turn right in the big room, and then you come in this room. And what you're looking at here in this picture is that it's a window that used to be a real window in the house, but then the window part of it was taken out and it was made into shelves. But if you were to look through that window from this room, you would be looking into Aunt Cora's room. And then you've seen in previous clips, you could see through this window or shelves, and you could see into this room here that is actually the front porch was turned into a bedroom. What you're seeing in this clip is you're coming in out of the front porch room, and you're coming into what I've always heard it called as the sojourner's room. And this is a room that was added onto the house from the original 4-room house, 2 on the bottom and the 2 loft rooms. And it was added to let strangers stay in, and they could spend the night there at night, and they wouldn't actually have to be inside your house. Because back in the 1800s, there were, especially out in the country and small towns and stuff, there was no motels, there was no hotels, there was nowhere for people to stay. So this room was actually created so they could allow strangers to spend the night without you actually having to allow them to come into your house. And this is the original beadboard that was put on the walls, I guess, when it was closed in. What you see in this clip, on the left-hand side, you're seeing the original part of the house that was built in the 1820s. The beadboard that you're seeing on the right was the sojourner's room that was added on at a later date. And I have no idea when that room was added on. But as you can see the outside siding on the house there on the left-hand side. If you've put up with a tired old man rambling on this long on this clip, you must be pretty interested in the history of the house, or I hope you are. I sure have enjoyed telling some of the history and some of my younger days and reliving those memories. But I want to stop rambling now, and hope you've enjoyed. Hope you'll come back and watch the rest of the history of this house, because I promise you it does live to fight another day. And enjoy. See you in the next clip.